I want to ask you about your agents. You said that this was a highly trained agent who had been serving on Border Patrol for 8 years. What was he trained for? Because these are your Border Patrol agents, and they're now in the interior of the country, in American cities. Was he trained in urban policing?
Yes, all of our Border Patrol agents are trained in for all types of environments, including urban policing. This particular Border Patrol agent had 8 years with some specific skill sets there with both firearms and less lethal munitions. Also, let's take a look at the training and the environments that Border Patrol agents operate in. We operate in places like San Diego, California, Tucson, Arizona, New Orleans. All those have Border Patrol sectors. Detroit, Michigan. We've got Border Patrol sectors in Buffalo. So this myth, and I saw this just last night on CNN, this myth that Border Patrol agents don't work in urban areas is just that. It's a myth. We're well adept at urban areas, conducting that Title VIII immigration enforcement wherever we go. It doesn't matter if it's a desert or an urban environment. We're very well adept at doing that.
I want to see that training, Sergeant. I want to see that training, Sergeant. That is what a Sergeant Major would tell me. If I was so loud, confident, and speaking glowingly about the training and experience of one of my soldiers who conducted themselves in the total opposite of their assigned duties and training, that is what my Sergeant Major would say to me and would demand from me. I want to see their training. Matter of fact, I want to see their counseling packets. I want to see their counseling packets, the 6-sided packets with the sections that focus on their training. I want to see it. I want to see the last time they were proficient in that task. You're that confident about your soldier? I want to see it. As a matter of fact, I want to see counseling packets of everyone in your squad. Oh, you're a platoon sergeant. Well, in that case, I want to see all the counseling packets in your platoon. I want to see them. I want to see that you have held the standard for everyone. When's the last time they've been to the range, Sergeant? What they fired, Sergeant? They qualify? I want to know. Go to the unit training office and get a copy of their training record. I want to see if you actually held that training and reported it to this unit training NCO. Oh, if they don't have their ATAR's transcript on hand, get that too. I want to see if the service schools and special courses they attended to get that specialized training is on the record. I need to know. Go to the admin section and get the most updated SRB, Soldier's Record Brief. I want to make sure that the training, certifications, and qualifications that are authorized to be documented on that brief is there. Oh, their medical personnel too? Really? Shit. I want to see their competency packets as well. I want to see if they have their licenses and certifications up to date so they can practice medicine and not drag us into another lawsuit because they didn't have their CEUs and training to perform that procedure. I want to see all this training you've been talking about. Child care. They're experts on child care. They know how to take care of kids. I need those certifications and degrees as well. I want to see that training they got that says they have the state required credentials and educations to take care of kids. And if it's not in their records or counseling packets, why haven't you updated them? And if you didn't hold training for those tasks for some reason, why did you coordinate with your unit during the training meeting so your command can get them that training they need, Sergeant? And if they are not proficient in that training, why yell out to the public and in Dolby Stereo that they were hot shit when you knew they weren't? Why lie, Sergeant? As a matter of fact, let me see your documentation as well, Sergeant. All of it. Bring your NCOERs too. We'll get through this together. Now, I don't know if that information and documents are still being used in the Army after I retired 4 years ago. But that's how I would have been handled if I go 10 toes down for a soldier under my watch who did something to bring scrutiny and unwanted exposure to the unit and the uniform they wear. And that is exactly how Congress should handle Greg Bovino, Kristi Noem, and anyone else in the administration who continues to sing the praises and give cover for ICE agents and CBP personnel while they wreak havoc in Minnesota, in Maine, in California, and anywhere else in the country, especially after Keith Porter Jr., Renee Good, and Alice Pretty were killed by these agents along with others. And I'm glad, at least for the moment, Senator Chuck Schumer and fellow Senate Democrats have stated they will not vote for that $10 billion ICE funding. They shouldn't vote for DHS funding at all, since everyone in that department had their fingerprints and quotes on this mess. The Senate needs to hold hearings this week, and those hearings need to have teeth. Those Border Patrol and ICE agents are highly trained. They said that. They need to provide evidence. They need to provide records, certifications, documentations, names of the personnel who supervise this training. Do they get this training annually? Do they get it every 6 months? Do they get it every quarter? And hey, if they were really highly trained, then certainly they were trained in some form of first aid or casualty care. Because common sense would tell you if you shoot someone and they are no longer a threat, you immediately give the emergency medical treatment instead of standing there, count how many rounds you put in their body, and just watch them bleed out and die. A highly trained federal agent wouldn't carry themselves that way. If the word is true that Bovino will be removed from action in Minnesota and forced to retire, cool. Deuces. But he still needs to stand on business with this whole highly trained claim he's been peddling. He shouldn't be let off the hook for anything. The American people need to see this, and we need to see it now rather than give them time to manufacture paperwork and or doctor signatures and data. We need to see them. Because if you're reducing training from 6 months to 47 days for the sake of getting as many bodies into the streets as possible, and to meet a deportation quota nearly every expert has said is unattainable, surely shortcuts have been made. It's guaranteed. This is not the profession where on-the-job training will be enough. It's not. This is not the time to skip certain training requirements because that applicant said they own a firearm, so they are by definition proficient, or because they are prior military or prior law enforcement, so certain training can be ignored. They'll take their word for it. We also need to know where these new applicants come from, because if you believe you're so proficient and highly trained and vetted in your job, you don't need to mask up. You believe in the job you're doing with no shame or regrets, stand on business then. Do your job with your faces and identification exposed, so when you do violate someone's constitutional rights, when you do use excessive force, when you do shoot women in the face or put 10 rounds in a VA nurse exercising his First and Second Amendment rights, or shoot dead a black man celebrating New Year's outside of his apartment, you could be held in account through investigations in courts, just like everyone else. We already seen 7 House Democrats fail to read the room and the 67% disapproval rating for ICE and voted for ICE funding anyway, allowing to pass the House, 220 to 207? And what was that reason? They don't want to go into another government shutdown over a rogue agency who is constantly wiping their feet over the Constitution and the safety of fellow Americans and immigrants, documented and undocumented immigrants who want nothing more than to work hard, provide for their families, and earn the same opportunities and freedoms we have. If there are those undocumented who are not, quote, the worst of the worst, which by and large the majority are law-abiding and contributing to this country, at least give them a more efficient and humane path of citizenship. or legal status, so they don't have to worry about being hunted down in the streets or hunted down in their workplaces or their own homes like stray dogs. So now these congressional Democrats and some Americans don't want another shutdown like the one over healthcare. And I can understand that. The struggle is real. But this feels different. It may feel the same because it may end up with, who will blink first once again and who will pay the political price afterwards. I think this is a fight the American people who are sick and tired of ICE and CBP and DHS and this administration. I think this is a fight the American people is willing to have and really willing to be in it for the long haul. This is a political, social, and humanitarian issue that will dominate the midterms. This is not going to slowly go lukewarm like the ACA subsidies fight in the last shutdown, which has some effect on state and local elections and may have forced some congresspeople to announce their retirement, but did not move the needle as much because it was just 2025. And Senate Democrats were too scared and weak to have that long of a fight. This is 2026. This is a new year. This is the nationwide midterms. While I'm glad to see some of these House Democrats backtrack their comments to this bill when that heat was put on them, it's probably too little too late for them. They're going to get primaried. That's the way it goes in politics sometimes. This issue will make or break someone's political career, and it starts in Congress. It starts with withholding ICE funding. It starts with demanding accountability. It starts with resignations and impeachments. It starts with the House Oversight Committee and the Senate Committee on Homeland Security and Government Affairs calling on Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem, the Director of ICE Todd Lyons, the CBP Commissioner Riley Scott, and his attacked Chihuahua Greg Bovino to the microphone on the red carpet on Capitol Hill and ask them of their agents the same questions they asked the very immigrants and U.S. citizens they terrorize on the streets. Show me your papers. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This is the training meeting.